So you may be thinking, why is my proposal not getting through the SBIR door? I'm here to tell you that your proposal is not getting rejected by the reviewer at first. It's getting rejected before it even gets to the SBIR door, meaning that before it even gets to the reviewer, it is rejected. Welcome to the Executive Innovation Show. I'm your host, Chevy, and as your federal execution partner, veteran business development consultant, trainer, and author, I help established tech founders like yourself to pursue SBIR and federal innovation opportunities through qualified proposal submission and strategic core partnership without sacrificing more time and your capacity at the same time. So welcome to the Executive Innovation Show. And today we're talking about why most SBIR proposals get rejected before we even get through the SBIR door, like I like to call it. So come on in. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Drop a 1 in the chat if you are new. And what I love to do is to invite you as you're watching this, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this later on, #replay. I want you to drop in the chat what you do, where you're located. And the reason I do this specific acts of you is to connect you with other people, especially if you are in the federal space, you are looking to identify maybe a core partnership to help you elevate your proposal when you're submitting your first phase one or your next, phase two, whatever the case may be. That person can be someone that you can leverage to create an opportunity. So you never know. So come on in, say hello, and drop what you do and who you do it for and where you are located. So another episode, and we're talking all things SBIR because as last week I shared how SBIR has been reauthorized, which is amazing. Okay. And this is your opportunity to leverage $4 billion annually over the next 5 years. So I wrote a newsletter last week. My lighting just kind of went down, but it's all good. Go check that out when you have an opportunity to see how you can tap into that and not wait because people are already moving ahead. But today we're talking about how you can avoid these things that I'm going to share today to make sure that your proposal gets through the SBIR door. Okay. So the first thing, and these are things that I harp on consistently, and from serving clients, I am giving you real world experiences. I'm going to share with you what other program managers from certain agency has shared with me that causes certain proposal to be rejected, and I want you to avoid that process. And if there are any questions, drop them in the chat. So first thing I want to talk about when it comes to submitting your first SBIR phase one, or maybe you're at the stage of where you're like Chevy, I've submitted 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and quite a few got rejected. And you're trying to figure out, okay, what am I missing? What is the process? And I have a framework that I use to help my clients submit SBIR merit-worthy proposal that gets through the door, get review, and so forth, because the goal is to get you through that door. And that is what I'm able to do so that you can elevate your opportunity to win your first phase one, phase two, and get that innovation to the market, but also meet the needs of one of those specific agencies. And one thing, your idea is not the issue, because we know as founders, you're creative, you're always innovative, you're always thinking of something, you have a solution for this, for that. And, welcome, Chanel. Thank you so much for tuning in from New Jersey. Thank you so much. And please drop in the comments what you do, who you do it for, because I want to make sure as people are listening, people are watching this later on, #replay, that they get to hear what the people in my community is doing and maybe potentially reach out for work or collaboration. You never know. So as I was saying, it's not the idea that you have. Honestly, it is the process, it is the structure and the alignment that is missing when it comes to you submitting your SBIR proposal. From my experience, I have seen there's different requirements for these 11 agencies. And what I have noticed, and from conversation, the alignment has to be there. You cannot just go and say, here, you know what, I have this. Yes, you can do a white paper, you can share with an agency specifically, hey, this is something that I have. But the first thing that you want to make sure that you're not in misalignment. Okay. And I see your question, Chanel. I will come back to that. So I want to just kind of talk very quickly. The biggest thing is misalignment of the agency. And, you want to make sure that you are submitting your innovation based on the topic that agency released. You want to make sure, does it connect to what they're asking for? Because you don't want to write this full proposal and then they're looking at you or looking at your package before it even gets through the door, like, this is not this is not what we asked for. So it's like, it's gone. It's in the wastebasket, it's in the trash. So you want to make sure that there are no misalignment. So let me go to the question that Chanela asked. She said, what is a SBIR proposal? How would someone in my industry be able to leverage my skill for offers? All right, so great question. So the first part, what is a SBIR proposal? Well, SBIR stands for Small Business Innovation Research. And if you think of your, and it's funding, like I talked about last week, there are $4 billion annually over the next 5 years. That was recently reauthorized on the 13th of April, I believe is the date, for founders. Individuals, it doesn't have to be a founder. It could be you if you have a business and you have an amazing idea that aligns with one of the 11 agencies, whether it's Department of Energy, Department of War, NASA, NSF. So you get to look at, okay, based on what they're asking for, they're going to give you a guideline to say, here's our topic. Number one, you have to make sure there's a topic that your innovation connects to. And right now, like, for example, NASA just released, topics. Department of Energy already released over 100 topics. So you can go to that, DSIP website.gov and see, okay, based on what they have listed, which one, because they will give you, an attachment you can read and make sure it aligns. But that proposal is saying, based on what they're asking for, you are going to pretty much respond to that proposal. It's like a paper. It's like you're in college and you have your final paper to submit, and that professor is saying, I like to bring the school analogy to that because your girl love education, and as a facilitator educator, it ties in. So you have to think of like your final piece of paper to say, hey, here's all of the requirements and here are the things that I'm looking for. And you pretty much make sure everything that they're asking for to submit, you are validating, you are answering that. And when you are done, you submit that proposal in the required system that they want you to submit that proposal to. And then that proposal, they will see on paper or in their system, oh, Chanela was able to respond to X, Y, and Z. Okay, here's how she responded. Here's what we're looking for. And if it doesn't match, then it's like, thank you, but no thank you. Great question. And for your skill set, let me just answer that second part. I think you have to look at, what you do. If you're focused on, you say, customer relationship, say if, you have to look at how does it affect the mission of that specific organization, and does it tie in? Are they looking for something to retain employees? That could be something that you develop. Maybe it's something to, get data on the thousands of customers that they're serving. Like, you have to look at, how can my innovation allow this agency to elevate or to solve a solution? So you have to look at that. And if it doesn't, you can also look at maybe a partner who you can tap into as well. As well, to bring your skill set. So maybe it's not you developing something, but it also maybe it's someone else who has an innovation, but also needs your skill set because it deals with people, what they're building, to elevate that experience for that customer as well too. So that's another way you can tap into that from the consultant side. Thank you for that. And we have Robin. Thank you so much tuning in live from California. Awesome. Thank you, Robin, for joining in. And, Robin does amazing things. So please drop it in the chat what you do so we can share. She's in the construction space. So definitely manufacturing different things. You never know who may need your services, and you never know if you can tap into SBIR as well based on what you do and what the agencies are looking for. So definitely tap into that. So the first thing I talked about is the alignment piece. Like, you have to make sure that you are in alignment. You don't want to just submit just to any agency when they're not asking for your specific the topic does not align with your innovation, because again, you're an amazing person. You are creative. You are a builder. You are an executor. You're getting things done. You're serving clients, but you just don't have the time and capacity. So I want to make sure that you have the tools and the skills and the resources to submit a merit worthy proposal, because that is the end goal. The end goal, the first part of the goal is to get through the door. The second part is to get it reviewed. The third part is to get it awarded. There's a process, okay? So number 2, no structured submission system. So again, I've had conversation with founder who has submitted multiple SBIR, awards, but it got rejected. Multiple, SBIR proposal got rejected. No feedback. And, sometimes it doesn't get through the door because you did not follow the structure that specific agency was looking for. Or they say, hey, Robin, hey, Chanela, hey, Chevy, here's the guidance that you need to follow. And because you did not follow that guidance and you put all that time, that effort into that proposal, they don't care about that. They want to know, did you follow the guidance that we provided based on our structure, based on our grading criteria? And if you did not, then it automatically gets rejected. Type rejected in the chat for me. Like, it automatically gets rejected. So you have to make sure and ask yourself. And sometimes it's great to have second eyes to go through and help you cross-check. In the military, when we submit something, we have it 2, 3, 4 people. Hey, this is going up to the commander. This is going up to the wing commander. This is going up to this person. Double check. What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Does it flow? Like, you want to make sure that you have some second eyes. And that is part of what I do for my clients, is to really looking at here's what you're building. Here are the agencies that are in alignment. Here's the structural process that either I follow through or I guide you through to get it completed and done correctly so that you can submit a merit-worthy proposal. Okay. And what I like to do is to use my framework, which is the Align framework. It is a system that I use to make sure that my clients are able to submit a merit-worthy proposal, because that is what the agency is looking for. To be honest, they want to make sure, is this merit worthy? Is it merit worthy for us to even look at this proposal? Because you have to think about it. It's not only you submitting for that opportunity. And this is money that you don't have to pay back. This is opportunity money that you get to use and leverage to your advantage to bring a solution to that agency. So when it comes to the agency, they want to make sure that the packages, the SBIR proposal that they are receiving is of quality. So I like to use my Align framework. I'm just going to share very quickly. And the first A is the agency and opportunity, looking at what agency aligns, what opportunities are available. Just like if you go to DSIP right now, which is the Department of War website, they're going to list hundreds of over 100 topics. That is one agency. That is the list of topics. Then you get to decide based on timeline, based on requirements, based on the needs, what exactly fits into what you are building. That is the first thing. And then the L is the logical process, the logical proposal structure. We want to make sure, what is the structure to make sure that you submit a merit-worthy proposal. And then we have to look at the I, which is the innovation translation. This is big. This is the big for founders. If what I've noticed when you're talking to our founders, and I've spoken to a lot of different founders over the last year, and when they speak, sometimes they're speaking on the technical aspect of their innovation. They know the ins and out of that product, which is amazing. That is great. But I want to remind you, as you are building out that proposal, I want you to think of, okay, when it comes to the technical innovation translation, How can someone like Chevy, how can someone like Chanela, like Robin, or the reviewer can sit and review your stuff to where, yes, they have the expertise, because what I've learned sometimes, because of manpower and requirements of how many proposals are submitted, sometimes they need people who are not fully equipped in a sense of the knowledge base on that proposal. So you have to make sure that you are submitting something where it's still up at a level, but anyone can understand what you're speaking about. Okay. And all the acronyms and stuff, spell it out. Spell it out. Okay. So making sure that you're able to translate what you are building into plain language that people can still understand. The reviewers, okay, we see what he or she is building. We understand, it aligns, it makes sense. Okay, they were able to pull this data. They're using this data to validate. Like, you have to be able to articulate that. Okay. And then the G is the governance and compliance, which is big. Are you in compliance? Are you within the United States? Like, you have to make sure you are in compliance, not only with what you're submitting, but also with the process, with the agency requirements, with the law requirement. If you're studying if your innovation or your study is focused on with people, are you in compliance? So it's really, you have to be intentional with what you're doing. And if you're like, Chevy, that's a lot, that's why you have people like me. And then the N, which is, because this is the align framework, which is the navigation and submission strategy. This is making sure that you are able to submit a merit worthy proposal, my friend. So that is what I help my clients do, to submit merit worthy proposal. And we have done that several times. And, I want to harp on the compliance and, placement, and one thing I have learned through this process, by having conversations with program managers from, several different agencies, and what they shared with me, and what I've heard from other founders who have submitted SBIR or other challenges, is that maybe a specific proposal got rejected because they forgot to put a specific thing in this specific area. And yes, it is that simple and that minute. If you, because they're testing to see, can you follow simple instructions? Like, can you follow simple instructions? And it's not an insult. It's attention to detail. It's like the military, like, attention to detail. Are you able to catch the simple things? Are you able to read this email and see, oh, this doesn't make sense? Are you able to go down range and be able to operate and execute doing high conflict, situation? Attention to detail. Same thing with your SBIR proposal. When you are writing it, it's a lot depending on the agency. It might be 15 pages. It might be 20, 50 pages. It might be 9 pages. So if you cannot adhere to the compliance and the guidelines, then yes, it will get rejected. If you go over the pages, it will get rejected. If it's a lot of grammar, it will get rejected, because they want quality proposals that they can review, because they know that you're serious. They know that you took your time, you put forward the effort, and you made sure that you provided them with a quality, merit-worthy proposal. Okay? So again, make sure you're not using the wrong volumes, because again, there might be different checklists out there. I'm going to call them checklists, to submit. Also making sure the formats are correctly formatted how they want it to be formatted. Also, any missing requirements. If it's missing, you probably would not hear anything back from that agency. If you're like, hey, I submitted 6 months ago and I have not heard back, you can reach out. And sometimes, most times, it's because it never even got through the door. Okay. I already gave you guys some examples of that. So definitely make sure, when it comes to making sure that your proposal is merit worthy, it gets through that door to get to the reviewers, to either get awarded or get feedback. Because again, feedback is good, because if you plan to continue to submit another proposal for SBIR, now you have data. You have data you get to leverage, because okay, now you can pull that data from the reviewers and apply it to the next one, which increases your chances of winning. So for me, I don't just say, hey, I write proposal. I am that person. I help you positioned with the right agency. I help you identify the core topic that aligns with what you're building. I help you put that piece together, that package together, that merit worthy package together, and get it through that door to get to the reviewer so they can review and decide whether or not they want to award you or give you more insight to come back again. That is what I do. I help you to submit merit worthy proposal. As an established tech founder, you want someone who's going to help you and make sure that you have everything that you need to submit a quality proposal to get to the next level. And I don't want you to continue to waste your time submitting 10, 15, 7, 8, whatever that number is, and you're not getting the feedback and the result that you're looking for. So if you are truly ready to step into this opportunity with support, with the right execution, the right submission, the right compliance, the right readiness, because you got to be ready. And you want someone who has gone through this process, who has helped other individuals, but also who brings that leadership, because you need leadership in this space, who is able to bring that execution, but also the the military aspect of this, to be able to deal with the complexity of what all it takes to submit a quality merit-worthy proposal. Then I want you to reach out to me. You can send me a DM with the word ready, or if you want to drop it here because you like, hey, I'm ready, drop it here in the chat. But I want you to really think and ask yourself, if you have been trying on your own, and you know this takes a lot of time. I'm trying to run my business. You're serving clients, you're developing your team, and you're still pulling yourself with the little time that you have to do this work. And that could be the missing piece. That might be your gap, where you're doing all these things on your own, and that is causing you to miss little things that is causing that opportunity to not go through the door. Okay. So if you are truly ready, reach out to me and let's have a conversation to see how I can support you to tap into that $4 billion over the next 5 years. Okay. So don't waste time. It's already behind we lost a couple months, 4 months, but now the funding is available. We know everything goes on a fiscal year. So guess what? That money has to be spent. That's why these agencies are putting out topics like rapid fire. So this is your opportunity to do it on your own, or find someone like myself to come in and help and support you. So reach out if you have any questions. I want to thank Chanela for being here, and Robin for being here as well. Don't forget to drop in the chat what you all do, because you never know who is watching this later on, #replay, and also who may be like, hey, I need to connect with Robin, or I need to connect with Chanela. So thank you both for being here live. And as always, I want to thank you all for joining me on the Executive Innovation Show. I'm your host, Chevy, and as your federal execution partner, your BD, your facilitator, veteran, of course, and author, I helped established tech founders like yourself to pursue SBIR and federal innovation opportunities through qualified proposal submissions and strategic partnership without sacrificing more of your time and your capacity. And we do that really focus on making sure that your position readiness, your proposal readiness and submission, but also partnership readiness as well too. So reach out to me. I'm here every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And I want to thank you all and have an amazing day as always. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go to the Executive Innovation Show on YouTube and subscribe. And I want you all to have an amazing week as always, and see you all next Wednesday.